Daily Devotion number 14. Luke 19. Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. And there was a man called Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and he was rich. Zacchaeus was trying to see who Jesus was, but he could not see because of the crowd, for he was short in stature. So he ran ahead of the crowd and climbed up on a sycamore tree in order to see him, for he was about to pass through their way. When Jesus reached the place, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for today I must stay at your house." So Zacchaeus hurried and came down and welcomed Jesus with joy. When the people saw it, they all began muttering in discontent, "He has gone to be the guest of a man who is a notorious sinner." Zacchaeus stopped and said to the Lord, "See, Lord, I am now giving half of my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anyone out of anything, I will give back 4 times as much." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this household, because he too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man has come to seek and save that which was lost." While they were listening to these things, Jesus went on to tell a parable. Because he was near Jerusalem, and they assumed that the kingdom of God was going to appear immediately, he said, "A nobleman went to a distant country to obtain for himself a kingdom and then to return. So he called 10 of his servants and gave them 10 minas and said to them, 'Do business until I return.' But his citizens, the residents of the new kingdom, hated him and sent a delegation after him, saying, 'We do not want this man to be king over us.' When he returned after receiving the kingdom, he ordered that these servants to whom had given the money be called to him, that he might find out what business they had done. The first one came before him and said, 'Lord, your mina has been made 10 more minas.' And he said to him, 'Well done, good servant, because you provided yourself faithfully and trustworthy in little things, you shall now have authority over 10 cities.' The second one came and said, 'Lord, your mina has made 5 minas.' And he said to him also, 'And you shall take charge over 5 cities.' Then the other come and said, 'Lord, here is your mina, which I have kept laid up in a handkerchief for safekeeping. I was always afraid of you, because you are a stern man. You pick up what you did not lay down, and you reap what you did not sow.' He said to the servant, 'I will judge and condemn you by your own words, you worthless servant. Did you really know that I was a stern man, picking up what I did not lay down and reaping what I did not sow? Then why did you not, at the very least, put my money in the bank? Then on my return I would have collected with interest.' Then he said to the bystanders, 'Take the mina away from him and give it to the man who has 10 minas. And they said to him, 'Lord, he has 10 minas already.' I tell you that to everyone who has, because he valued his gifts from God and has used them wisely, more will be given. But from the one who does not have, because he disregarded his gifts from God, even what he has will be taken away." The king ended by saying, "But as for these enemies of mine, who did not want me to be king over them, bring them here and kill them in my presence." After saying these things, Jesus went on ahead of them, going up to Jerusalem. When he approached the Bethphage and Bethany at the mount of the called Olivet, he sent 2 of the disciples, saying, "Go into the village ahead of you there. As you enter, you will find a donkey, a colt tied, which no one has ever sat. Untie and bring it here. If anybody asks you, 'Why are you untying the colt?' you will say, 'The Lord needs it.'" So those who were sent left and found the colt, just as he had told them. As they were untying the colt, its owners asked them, "Why are you untying the colt?" They said, "The Lord needs it." They brought it to Jesus. They threw their robes over the colt and put Jesus on it. As he rode along, people were spreading their coats on the road in homage of the king. As soon as he was approaching Jerusalem, near the descent of the Mount of Olives, the entire multitude of the disciples began praising God, adorning him with enthusiastically and joyfully with loud services for all of the miracles and works of power that they had seen, shouting, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord, peace in heaven and glory." Some of the Pharisees from the crowd said to him, "Teacher, rebuke your disciples." Jesus replies, "I tell you, if these people keep silent, the stones will cry out in praise." As he approached Jerusalem, he saw the city wept over it, saying, "If only you had known on this day of salvation, even you, the things which it make for peace, and on with peace depends, but now they have been hidden from your eyes." For a time of siege is coming, when your enemies will put up a barricade with pointed stakes against you, and surround you with armies, and hem you in on every side. And they will level you to the ground, you Jerusalem, and your children within you. They will not leave you one stone on another, all because you did not recognize the time of your visitation, when God was gracious toward you and offered you salvation. Jesus went into the temple and began driving out those who were selling, saying to them, "It is written, my house shall be a house of prayer, but you have made it a robber's den." He was teaching day after day in the temple, but the chief of priests and scribes and the leading men among the people were seeking a way to put him to death, and they could not find anything that they could do, for all the people were hanging on to every word he said.